Hello, this is a video on Ebrowse, which is a two-part facility in Emacs. So one of these parts is the command line interface, which you can access from your shell or wherever. And then one is the elisp library, which you can access from within Emacs. So to get started, what you have to do is you have to create a browse file. You do that using the command line facility. So you do ebrowse and then feed all of your files into it. You can do that by piping, but for my use case, this is sufficient. So if you do that, that should create a browse file, which is essentially um, a parsed file which contains all of your class information and all that stuff. So if you cat it out, you can see it's basically a mess. It's supposed to be parsed by Emacs. So if we open it using Emacs, you will be presented with a fancy C++ tree, which shows all of your classes. So to get the statistics, you just press X or the function ebrowse statistics. You can see the information on the key presses over here, with the top being the most recent key press, and then this being the second most, and on and on. So to go to the definition of living thing, you just press enter on the class, and that should take you to the definition. But if you want to view, for example, the functions from ebrowse, all you have to do is press capital L and F. Then it shows you all of the functions. So in this screen, we can see here that v is is an attribute. So there's something special about this function. This over here is the attribute bar. So it shows you all the attributes. For example, is it virtual? Is it inline? Is it in externc? So this v in this case means virtual. So if you go to the definition of this function, you can see that it is indeed a virtual function. So if we go back and if we want to say, for example, we only want to see the virtual functions in this list, we want to toggle, so we can press FV, then it will only show us the display info. And then if we do that again, then it shows us it toggles and shows us everything again. So we can do, for example, stuff like, if we only want to see, for example, the private members, we can do FAI, which shows us I think, yeah, this shows us the public members. And if we press that again, it shows us the normal members. So if you want to view more information about these, we can toggle, we can change the display. So we can do DL, which shows us the definition as well. Like this, we can also toggle stuff like, do we want to see the attributes, which we can toggle by pressing DA, which hides the attributes. And we can, for example, toggle, and then we can see the attributes again, and so on. So from here, these are only the functions. So if we want to view the variables, we can do that by pressing LV, capital L, that is. And then this shows us all of the variables, and we can view the definition, which is a handy feature, by pressing DL again, which shows us the variables. So if we go back to the tree screen, we can see that fauna is a class that is derived of living things. So if we press enter and then we view fauna, you can see that the class is derived off of living thing. It is based off that. So it defines some of its own variables, like is it cold-blooded, and its own function poop. So we can do that by, if we view the same tree, it shows us which functions are defined in the class itself and which functions it has inherited from the living thing class. So this is a useful feature, and we can do that with all of the derived classes as well. So we can see LF, so then it shows us which functions are defined in carnivore and which functions are defined in fauna, which is the base for carnivore. So here we have a function omnivore, which you can see appears in two places, and this is the case because it is derived off of two classes. So we can still view, for example, the functions which it does not have any, but you can see that it has a list over all the functions it has from the bases. Yeah. So this, if we, while we are in a C++ file, for example, living thing, we can access the facilities of Ebrowse by using the prefix Control-C, Control-M, and then whatever key you want. So for example, you can see that we can complete symbols. We can do we can like go to a specific buffer like members or tree, so we can go back to the tree buffer, or we can Ebrowse a function. So if we just go all the functions, you can see that it has all of these that we can Ebrowse to. Then there is many other functions you can use. Yeah, that is Ebrowse. There is many other facilities in Ebrowse. For example, you can toggle much more attributes. You can freeze buffer and do all sorts of stuff. But this video is limited to just tell you the base of, like, the basics. You can read more on the manual. Okay.